Welcome to And Friends, a showcase about the amazing people involved in all spheres of the entertainment industry, discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly, but most importantly, creating a platform to truly humanize our industry because amazing events don't happen on their own. Today, we're lucky enough to have Michael Edwards with us. Michael is a very well-renowned AV and video technician, at least in the South African industry, before he moved across to greener pastures. But we'll jump in on all that. So yeah, Mike, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, glad I can join. And happy to be part of this.
Awesome, man. So I think maybe you just share with us what would you say is your current role in the industry?
So I work as sort of a broad sort of anything in the video side of the world of live events. I try to market myself as a media server technician and programmer. That's what I primarily try to do. But also work as a projectionist and general AV tech and whatever I get asked to do.
Yeah, as it goes. No, for sure. And what's kind of your origin story? Where'd you come from? How'd you build yourself up? Like, what's your story?
So I mean, I think like many people in the industry, I got involved in the media team at school, and didn't really think anything of it at that time. It was just something fun, and I could skip classes. But and then kind of once again, like a lot of people, I think I left school and decided, I want to study sound engineering, and did that, and then ended up trying to find a job in the industry, and started off. Worked for AV Direct. They were the first actual AV company that I worked for.
Yeah.
And then Dylan, who now runs Kilowatt AV, he approached me, offered me a job, said he was starting Kilowatt, and it sounded like something interesting. And
so you were really in there on the ground level.
That's basically my history, and then freelanced for a little while in South Africa, and then I've currently moved over to the States and been freelancing since I got here, and certainly loving it. It's different.
Okay. Yeah, and how long have you been across in the States?
I think it's going on about 8 months now.
Okay, and then when did you start at sort of AV Direct? If you like, you're saying AV Direct was kind of your first introduction to, like, if we can call it, like, the professional AV market. Whenabouts was that? So how long have you been?
It was like an eternity ago. I think it was 2005 that I started there, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then I didn't work there for very long before Dylan decided to start his own thing. And
sure. And then we're talking about the industry in general. Like, what about the industry in general do you love? What makes you kind of stay in the industry, or keeps getting you up in the morning?
It's a lot of. I've been asked this question a lot of times, and I think a lot of what it is I absolutely love the passion of the people that are involved in the industry. Like, it's such a unique industry that so few people really know exists, and it's I think it's the passion and the drive of people in it who make it. I mean, I've met so many amazing people through working in the industry.
Nice. And then if you could change something in the industry, if there's one thing that doesn't line up with what you sort of like your passion or whatever, so if you could change sort of one thing in the industry, what would it be?
Well, speaking from a South African perspective, I'd certainly like to see the sort of pay scale be improved. Having moved over to the States, it's like it's a completely different world. I mean, I'm sort of here. I get paid like along the same sort of lines as like what doctors make, whereas in South Africa, we're like guys just aren't getting paid what they're worth. I feel. You know, like somewhere in the middle would be amazing. Like if that could get fixed. I mean, I was lucky in South Africa as obviously I was working as Navy tech, so because there's so few of us, we can charge a little more, I guess. But yeah, the poor audio guys, I mean, they're working like 18-hour days and, you know, can buy like a loaf of bread at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's hectic. And from the American side, I mean, obviously you say you've been there for 8 months now. If you were to change anything from that side, of sort of from the time that you've been there, what would it kind of be?
I don't know. I've actually been really happy here. It's obviously been kind of tough to break into a very big industry here. I was lucky when I moved over because I had some connections here who were able to give me work or refer me to other people who could give me work. So that was a little like foot in the door kind of thing.
For sure.
Yeah, it's still been tough. You know, I mean, you go from somewhere where like everyone knows who you are, and you know, and then going somewhere where you have to convince people to, you know, take a chance on you. Yeah,
it's hectic, big step.
Your reputation's is what gets you work as a freelancer, and having to build that from scratch again has been tough. But it was just starting to look really good before the coronas hit.
Sure. What would you say is like has been your best or your biggest, maybe let's say best show sort of to date?
That's kind of a hard one to classify because I've worked on really big corporate shows and I've also worked on really big music productions. So I think like, you know, obviously the rock and roll side of things is way more exciting and makes much better pictures.
Yes.
But I think one of my top corporate shows was a road show that we did for Old Mutual. I can't even remember how long ago now. It was quite a few years. Where we had a huge, I think it was 60-meter wide, 7-meter high set that we toured around the country. Like 7 projector blend, all run on AI. So it was,
awesome. When
I look back, it was a really cool show. I mean, we literally had like a bus that we traveled around the country in to transport the crew.
Sure.
It was crazy. So I think in terms of corporate, that was probably a highlight for me. Certainly something that sticks out. I remember. On the entertainment side, wow, I mean, been involved in so many incredible productions over the years. I was involved in all of the Urban Wave events. Got to work with like I think the top 20 DJs in the world over those years. So yeah, making those happen was interesting. When I look back and we were using like Mac 250s and like MX10s, it makes me laugh to think what we did with what's now like gathering dust in like the back of workshops and nowadays everyone's got like latest and greatest toys, and I look back at photos of those events and I'm like, oh, wow, what we did with those is incredible.
It is, and I think like that gear hasn't. Yeah, maybe it's aged a bit since, but I mean the fixtures, still work. The projectors still work. It's just amazing how like our expectation has increased so much that now like we won't touch that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember building like back walls of some of those stages with 20 mil LED.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like people are like, oh no, we won't use anything less than 3 mil. Our standards have changed.
Okay, and then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you don't have to name any gigs in particular, but what was like your worst gig or your worst project?
Um, well, a challenging one was certainly some gigs in December that you and I may be familiar with. Those were certainly challenging.
Yeah.
But that's how Africa is.
Yes.
Yeah, there's certainly been some challenging ones over the years. I did an awards ceremony many years ago where I actually discovered what the like physical manifestations of stress do to you, and
Sure.
I'd never experienced that till then, and I've never actually experienced it since. But
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a particularly difficult show. It was just dealing with a particularly difficult client, and that was a tough one.
Sure. I'm sure. Hectic, man. And what would you say is like, for an outsider looking in, what do you think is the biggest misconception about our industry?
Well, I often tell people that we're just robots and we just need a can of oil on Mondays and we're good. I think that comes down to what you're trying to do to just like humanize the industry and just like make people aware that shows aren't just like a bunch of gear. It's without us, it's just a warehouse of gear. It has to get there, it has to get set up, and it has to be operated. And like that's I think where a lot of people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes.
No, 100%. Sort of jumping to more current trends and current happenings. How is COVID-19 and the coronavirus? How is that affecting you?
Well, I'm unemployed basically, which it's a tough pill to swallow right now.
Yeah.
I went from I started losing work already beginning of March. The last time I had any work was first week of March. And I went from having about 25 days booked in April to nothing. So yeah, it's been a very tough pill to swallow. It's really hit the industry hard. Yeah, I mean, obviously in South Africa, I'm sure it's not the same. Just looking forward, it's scary. I don't think any of us know when events will come back. I've got tickets to live shows throughout the summer here, and one of them's already been cancelled, and I'm pretty sure the other two aren't going to happen. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Hopefully, corporate events come back somehow.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, to try and make something positive out of it, what positives are you taking away from this time?
Well, obviously, with everyone offering free training, I've taken advantage of that where I can. I've done a little done a little bit of that,
Yeah.
which has been good. It's stuff that I wouldn't have necessarily got around to or been motivated enough to actually learn. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll come out of this, with one or two more skills that I can be hired for.
Sure.
And then, I mean, I'm trying to just sort of get a side business going. Yeah. So, and hopefully keep that going once events start again. Just being able to work from home and so.
Passive income.
Yeah, well, that's not necessarily passive, but something to keep me busy and pass the time.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's exciting.
I think everyone in our industry is used to just being like go, go, go all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And suddenly to have all this downtime is tough.
Yeah.
We just don't know what to do with ourselves.
No, 100%. Sure. And what advice would you give your younger self?
Become an architect.
Wow, that's very specific.
Well, no, I mean, not. I think it was something that I actually considered at one point, but no. In all seriousness, I think I love this industry. I definitely wouldn't change any of my decisions.
Yeah.
I suppose if I could give my younger self some advice, would be to put some money away for a pandemic.
Yeah. Not even a rainy day, just a flat out pandemic.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I think. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't change any decisions I made career-wise.
Yeah. Well, that's refreshing. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I would have done something completely different, whatever." But like, that's obviously thinking quite short term, just based on what's happening right now. This is not like going to be like this forever, and it hasn't been like this before. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know guys here. Obviously, they all went through like 9/11 and stuff like that. And 9/11,
sure.
I mean, it obviously didn't affect South Africa, but the US, I mean, the economy tanked, like live events just stopped happening, and it came back, and it came back stronger than it did before. So so hopefully this is just a time where people can make it out the other side, and we can continue continue doing what we love.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And any advice to any up and coming kids?
Well, I mean, when I was sort of career searching, I didn't even know this industry existed, and I still, I mean, my wife's a guidance counselor, and she wouldn't know this existed unless she knew me.
Yeah.
And just like, I think those people that find it, the best way to like learn and sort of like progress in the industry is just to ask informed questions. Like, go and like study up on what, I mean, nowadays like, YouTube is probably your biggest resource in terms of trying to figure stuff out. And, like go and watch those tutorials. And then when you work with guys that are running whatever you're interested in, ask the questions. Like I've always said to people, come and ask me as many questions as you want. Like I will happily answer them. I
mean, it's intimidating as a youngster that I remember receiving that advice from someone as well. ask as many questions, and it's very like nerve-wracking as like a younger person, as like a sort of as a green person in the field. It's like, oh, what are they going to think if I do that? But I mean, you put yourself, fast forward 10 years, and like kind of you want someone to ask you these questions, you want to share the knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Kilowatt, I was technically the most senior person there, and always said to guys like, ask me all the questions you want. Like, if I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you. And then but chances are I can refer you to someone that can answer the question, or I'll find out for you. But yeah, I mean, there's no, university of AV. So, the only way that you can learn is the passing down of knowledge.
For sure.
And, I whenever I've worked with people that are, doing something that I don't know, or, are obviously better than me, I'm going to ask them as many questions as I can. I mean, don't be annoying about it. Like, that's another piece of advice I can give.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
When you got the show callers shouting at you because they want changes made, it's like, don't be asking questions. But
know the right timing.
Yeah, but I'd say that's the biggest piece of advice, really, is to just learn from other people and ask questions. Like, no question is a stupid question.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a stupid question, but then I'm going to tell you and I'm going to give you a hard time about it. So.
I'll not let someone forget about that. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that's cool. And then, I mean, where do you want to see the industry in 5 to 10 years?
Well, not where it is right now would be nice. It's. I don't even know. I mean, like we were talking about urban wave parties and using like Mac 250s. I've been in the industry for like 15 years, 16 years, whatever, and I've seen it basically go from like analog to digital in that time. I mean, we were using 1024 by 768 projectors, and considered those like really, that was good. If we got an 800 by 600 projector, then we were like, oh, okay, this is good. And now we're like, like 4K projectors are, a everyday occurrence.
Yes, yeah.
So, where the industry is going to be in 5 to 10 years it's a crazy thing to consider how fast technology is moving. With the current reality, I think, sort of virtual events may become a thing. I certainly think that VR is going to play quite a big role going forward. Regardless of how events happen, I think VR and AR is definitely going to be something that's going to come in. And that's going to be interesting. I mean, I know guys that are working on sort of notch like VR stuff and that kind of thing, and it's really interesting to see where it's going. So I certainly think the sort of virtual reality and interactive kind of stuff is definitely where things are headed.
Like, to sum up everything, if you had to sort of name one or more people who you'd say have been very like impactful mentors in your career, who would that be? I mean, in or out the industry, but who would you say has played a huge role in your career advancement?
Well, having been with Kilowatt for so long, I mean, Dylan's definitely been very, very instrumental in me becoming who I am today. I certainly wouldn't have got the opportunities and got thrown in the deep end as many times if I hadn't been with a company that, had basically for quite some time 2 techs. And having that opportunity, I think, was huge. Getting to work with like big international names and do the kind of events that we did so early on was definitely instrumental. So I would say Dylan was definitely my sort of most influential person in me being where I am today.
Okay. No, awesome. Cool, Mike. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate your time and you being here. We want to encourage all of you to share your stories and connect with your industry friends using the hashtag #AndFriends. We hope this can grow into a platform to inspire, share, and unify our industry, and we can't wait to learn all about your story.